If you're brand new to piano and you want to teach yourself, or you've taken quite a few years of lessons and you want to brush up on your skills and continue progressing, then keep watching. I've been teaching piano for over 30 years and I've worked with a lot of teens and adults. And the challenge is always to teach them the important basics of classical training with inspiring music that doesn't sound babyish. There's a lot of adult piano method books that you can buy, and I've honestly taught out of most of the top rated books online, and I've only been impressed with a few. So my goal today is to point you towards the books that I love and I know will help you to learn to play the piano and progress quickly. I will link all of the books in the description that I recommend today, but it's important to watch the whole video because I'm going to talk about some supplemental resources that you can use in addition to these books that will accelerate your progress. And I'll also talk about how to pick the right level of these books that I recommend. Let's quickly talk about what piano method books are and why they're important. Most piano teachers teach out of method books because they present important concepts in an organized way and they gradually progress. They contain mostly repertoire, aka pieces or songs, but they also incorporate theory and technique lessons. So they are meant to be an easy, all-inclusive way to learn how to play the piano. The first piano method series I want to recommend is the Accelerated Piano Adventures for the Older Beginner. You can see that my books are well used. This has 2 levels and it goes at a pretty fast pace. So I recommend this for pianists who have taken lessons and they want to brush up on their skills. This could also work well for musicians who have learned to play other instruments and can read music. I recommend buying the learning set on Amazon because you'll get the most bang for your buck. So it includes technique and theory and performance pieces in 4 separate books that complement each other. So when you're working on a piece in the lesson book, it'll have a note on the page to work on specific pages in the other books. I recommend that you get the Piano Adventures Player app on iOS devices as a supplement to these accelerated Piano Adventures books. You can play along with the fun background music, or you can filter the settings so that you only hear the piano part. You can practice one hand at a time. You can slow the tempo down. The next piano method series I'd like to recommend is the Adult Piano Adventures All-in-One by Faber. This has 2 levels, and the main difference between this and the Accelerated Piano Adventures is that this is a thicker book that includes the theory and the technique and the performance pieces all in one book. So it's more affordable because you only have to buy 1 book. The coolest thing about this newer series is the free accompanying video lessons that demonstrate the important concepts in the book, and also the inspiring audio recordings that you can play along with. You can buy some fun supplemental books to go along with the main course book, like the popular book and the Christmas book, and I'll link those in the description below. I want to quickly talk about this piano method book that's a top seller on Amazon. It definitely has some fun pieces in it, and it also incorporates free video lessons that demonstrate the concepts taught in this book and some really nice audio recordings that you can play along with. But it's not going to help you learn to read music because it has the finger numbers and the letters written in throughout the book. So this book is really for people who want to play famous songs right away, and get a nice introduction to some basic piano theory concepts. The next piano method series I love is the Piano Adventures, the Basic Piano Method. This is the first original series that Faber created, and it's the series that I teach out of the most because it's very thorough and it progresses slowly, which is what most students need. So this series works well for beginning to intermediate pianists. If you're brand new to piano, start with the primer level and gradually work up to level 5, which is the highest level. And if you've been taking piano lessons for a couple years, you could try level 2A or 2B. And if you've taken lessons for 4 or more years, you could try level 3B or 4. Even though these books have been around for a long time, Faber updates them regularly and adds new pieces. So you'll want to buy the second edition of the learning sets to get the newest material. I also recommend that you practice these books with the Piano Adventures Player app. It will help you to learn the rhythm correctly, and it'll make your practicing a lot more fun with the background music that you can play along with. Now I'd like to talk about my absolute favorite method for teaching beginning to intermediate students. It's an online software called Piano Marvel, and I will put more information about it in the description. But it's for people who have Windows, Macs, Chromebooks, and iOS devices. I prefer it over any method books because I see students progress so quickly with it. It has a continually expanding library of thousands of pieces in different genres. So you'll see classical pieces, pop, jazz and blues, TV and film. Piano Marvel will give you a well-rounded music education because it includes note reading, technique, rhythm, and ear training. It gives instant feedback if you miss the notes or rhythm. Most people go to Amazon for every purchase nowadays, and it's a great resource for buying piano music, but it doesn't show the inside of the piano books, unfortunately. So one of my favorite resources for researching piano music is sheetmusicplus.com because it shows the inside of some of the pages so you can get a good idea of the level. So if you wanted to learn from the Piano Adventures Basic Piano Method series and you weren't sure what level to buy, just look that up on sheetmusicplus.com and look at some of the levels and look at some of the pictures and see if the songs look too easy. I want to mention that I don't just teach out of method books. I always supplement with theory, technique, and classical books to make sure my students are getting a well-rounded education. So check out this next video of mine where I talk about my favorite technique books.